Hello YouTube, this is the makings, the guts, whatever they call it, out of a pyramid power supply. I know it's 10 amp, I don't know why it says PS14K on it, if you looked on some of them, but I have the original case somewhere. This used to be mounted on the back of the power supply. I modified this and put it up here, because I used to blow a fan across it in my other case. And I wanted to show these VRs that go on the circuit board. See if we can get this focused real good. This is what you'll see in the circuit board, and they'll say VR by some of them. They'll have a number, VR with a number. The ones that people get in there and play with to turn up the AM modulation and try to crank the radios up and everything. Sounding sarcastic there. I fixed so many radios where people used to do that. And we'll turn this one up back here's voltage to the final and burn it up. But I'd get them cheap or free though. But you see where I placed with wires in there? You really can't see it, but all that is just a circle. It says VR1. Kept the wires in order of how these work because there's two legs. It's got that horseshoe shape. And then you got here, this one actually runs the center so it goes around that path. I should have mentioned in my video when I was playing with them knobs, you can make a volume knob go either direction just by switching the wires around. But hopefully if somebody does that, they'd figure it out just like most people have. I'll switch the two outside wires around. There's a real old one. There's one of the more modern ones. But that's all I did. That's adjustment for the voltage. That way I can go down 11 volts. The power supply would run a little cooler when you're listening on a radio. And there might be some out there say you shouldn't run low voltage to a CB, but then when you cranked it up and went like to 14.1 or 14.2, it'd be like your alternator fully charging. 13.8, I think it is when your alternator is charging. Because I'd abuse it. I'd put big radios on here and suck it down. 10 amp power supply just ain't big enough for some radios. But this had blew up once. Had a repairman fix it for me. Had to replace one of these. And there's little IC chips down there. You see two little long black ones, all the little legs. Look like a centipede thing. Had to replace one of them. We're making a template out of paper here to mount this in the cabinet. This bolts right directly to the metal. This had what they call standoffs. I'm going to use bolts, washers, and nuts because it does go on the ground side of the board. You can see the little circles if you can see it there. Little circles. I'll just use bolts so this doesn't touch. I suppose I could put a piece of cardboard or something on it, but it's not going to touch when I'm done. I'll put a piece of cardboard or paper or something there while I'm doing it so I don't bang this against the metal or whatever's soldered there sticking out. And I marked everything. I even marked what side had the fuse from the start. I know it probably don't matter because this is your AC voltage coming in from the house. Your big transformer drops your voltage down to a lower AC voltage. Then you got diodes. Use 4 of them. That takes AC voltage and makes it into DC so it all flows negative positive. That stuff ain't too hard to learn if you get simple books on it and learn how to make those little power supplies. But this is beyond me. If this needed repaired, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know if my repairman is even still around over all these years. I took it to a qualified TV repairman, been in business 30-some years. Because this originally blew up a $300 radio. Bought it out of a cheap CB shop. It was supposed to be new in the box. It looked new in the box. It was messed up. He found out where whatever was wrong with it. Some factory defect or something. It blew out several things. These make your power. These are old style, but they've been used throughout the years. They are a quality type part. If you'd buy a new stereo now, you wouldn't probably see this. You'd see some cheapy junk in there. There is modern ones that were good, but there is cheapy junk in there for your amplifier part of a big stereo. That's your heat sink. I used to have a fan blowing this way, where the fan always pulled air through the fins, which I'll do the same thing. There'll be a nice fan there, this time a quiet one. And that's about it. I can always line that paper up. There was little diodes here. You had a diode like a green one where it came on. I've got that marked. You had one if it overloaded. There's a little, that's a little squealer buzzer down there. It'll squeal, let you know you're firing it up backwards. The wires are backwards. Here's your positive side, negative side. These will be bolted together or something to extend the wires like I did before. Then they'll all be taped up and sealed up. If I use them lug terminals, I'll make sure they're really super clean and the bolts are really super tight with. I call them star washers, but they're not. Star has teeth on the outside. The internal tooth washers. The teeth are on the inside of the washer, and that's the name for them, internal tooth. The ones with the spikes that stick out like a star, they are the star washers. When you go to the store to get them, you know what they're called. There is a difference, but you got them teeth in there. You put them between here so they grip these and dig in. So you have a mechanical and electrical connection. I learned that from an electrician. You got to have a mechanical and an electrical connection. Mechanical is super tight, contacting. Electrical is the contacting. But that's how they put it in my head. Make sure you have a good mechanical and electrical, because they knew I was mechanical. I didn't know a whole lot about electricity years ago. Worked for an electrician for a while. So this little board will be up off there. There's only 2 screws in it before, so it doesn't touch the bottom of the cabinet. I've modified this and I put the wires around, use zip ties, because this used to be on the back of the power supply. So everything's all zip tied in a bundle. It free floats up here. It doesn't matter that it's grounded, because it was still grounded to the metal before. Little aluminum pieces I made. And I like this better because it had a fan, because it always runs so hot. I'd abuse it and run it so hot, I decided to put it in a case with a fan sucking across it. So, enough of that. I may add a couple little things in here, but I can't really tell you what this is. I think it's one of them big giant protection diodes. Probably on the AC side. If you blew that, you really probably did something wrong. I may be wrong. If somebody knows what that is, tell me what it is. I know they had smaller versions of these in old radios. They were like the protection diode. But this could be for the AC side or something. That's big. Whatever that is big and important protection device. Not a transistor. Most transistors would have 3 legs. Take a liar out of me. These only have 2 legs. These are called Motorola type. I'm pretty sure when I was a kid. That's who probably came up with them first. RCA, whatever. There's the cheapy factory one. There was the one that was replaced. I could tell because it has a little more of that heat sink white grease stuff smeared around it. But made out like a bandit at the time he fixed it. Years ago. Probably charged him only $25. Now you might as well just buy a new one of these shuck out. But add that warning. You buy a used power supply, don't hook your radio. It costs hundreds of dollars to it. If you can take it somewhere and have it serviced and checked, or use it on junk stuff till you figure out whether you want to trust it or not. But thought I'd show that. It'll be part 3. Show the guts that's going in that thing, and then I'll have of course, some clips of what everything looks like inside of it. But thanks for watching this. Thought I'd better add this clip. I center punched inside here. Have my template taped down. I come back out here and found the little dimples and marked them with a Sharpie. Then I'll center punch it the opposite direction so I can drill it. Because you're not going to drill from this side. You're not going to get your drill in there. I'll do the same thing for where that circuit board is. I'll mark it with a little template. I'll put my little dimples coming out. You can barely see them. But the hole's going to be bigger than the screws. Allow for the slop, that's what I call it. Holes will be way bigger than the bolts. Easy way to do that. Make sure it's sharp. It was hard to get the hammer in there without hitting your knuckles, but swamp it good.